Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MilsimUnits.com podcast. This is your host, C. Brock, and we are here with several members of the leadership team from UNSC UNICOM. With that, we have Major Jim.
Nice to meet you guys. Glad to be here.
We have Lieutenant Ajax.
Pleasure.
And we have Petty Officer 3 Ashford.
Greetings, everybody.
All right, gentlemen. Well, it's good to have you here on the show. This is something a little bit new to me in terms of the UNSC Milsim experience, as I was talking, with you before the podcast. So hopefully we'll get some light on this topic here and get a lot of really interesting information, really fascinating details about your unit out to the greater Milsim community. So with that being said, gentlemen, let's get right into it. So, like I said a moment ago, we were talking before we started recording here. I just got a mind full of background on the unit. But before we get into all that, I'm really curious how you guys each got started in Milsim and then, with like Halo Milsim in particular. So, Jim, if you would start us out, tell us about your background.
So, to be honest, I didn't even know Arma Reforger existed. I knew Arma 3 existed, but I've never had a PC that could actually withstand it or support it. So I was playing DayZ. That was like the basic Milsim community kind of for Xbox. And then there was a dude, I think his name's Mute, that had a group called UNSC Panama on Reforger. I joined it. Wanted nothing to do with command, kind of. And I kind of chilled for a little while as an E1 and then got promoted to E3. And besides Arma Milsim, I did a lot of Halo Clan stuff before DayZ even came into the picture. So I did Halo Clans for about 6 to 8 years. And I ran like 1 or 2 groups, and then I was Marine COs and was an ODST a couple of times.
Gotcha. So yeah, you were kind of mixing up the experiences there, but it seems like it was kind of a logical foundation for where you ended up today with your Milsim.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, what about you, Ajax? Tell us about your history in gaming.
I originally got into the the Halo Clan community back in 2007. And from there, I've just been kind of a part of the UNSC community and the Halo lore and stuff like that. I ended up discovering Arma Reforger through the same means as Jim. There was a guy named Mute who was running the UNSC Panama. I came in with a couple people. One of them people might know, Fry. I'm actually one of the people that conscripted him. So,
yeah, I was just going to say, going back, 2007, that's like 14 some years here. 14, 15 years are going on. Am I doing my math right? Or is that 17, 18 years? Yeah. Either way, that is a long time to be in the community, and that now I understand when you were giving me some background here before we started. It makes sense. Your depth and breadth of knowledge. So I'm definitely looking forward to unpacking a little bit more of that as we get into the discussion here tonight. All right, Ashford. Now, what about you? What's your background and your history in gaming and Milsim in particular?
Specifically around the Halo franchise, I've been playing this since I was like 5 on the very first Xbox. The first game I ever touched was Halo 2, and ever since I've touched it, I've enjoyed Halo ever since. I didn't get into clans around 2013 on very first Reach on 360, and ever since I first touched clans, my very first clan was Navcom. And after that, I've just never stopped doing clans. I've had a pretty good fun time with it over the past 8-9 years of it. I mainly did it around Reach and 5 is where I really am known around to do it in, but yeah, I have a really good addiction to Halo. It's my favorite Halo franchise game aside of Warhammer. Now Arma as a whole, I originally started off doing you know, like actual like real life mission units such as like CAG or DevGru even, with buddies of mine known as the Mets. They're my good friends. I consider them my brothers and all that. Now, how I became into the Halo Milsim, I decided to say, because after I found out Uppercut existed as a mod, I was like, oh, cool, Halo mods out. I'm gonna test that. So I dropped all the realistic Milsim stuff and then came over here. And then, ironically enough, Unicom was my first group I joined. At the time, I was known as Fear, and I made a pretty good name for myself here. Like, I think I definitely made a lot of histories as well as like memories here in this group. It's my home. It's my first home I can consider a Halo Milsim. Um, and Yeah, I mean, not really much to go off my Halo Milsim background, but just a lot of Halo stuff as a whole. I'm just a geek for it.
Sure, man. That's legit. You're OG, man, going all the way back like that. But it's pretty cool, and I can sympathize with you because I was, I played all kinds of different games and different genres, growing up and getting into gaming, even into adulthood. But I didn't get into milsimming until kind of late, I guess you could say, relatively. So definitely a great experience, and I'm happy that you guys are running a great shop and providing the experiences that keep people engaged like that. So definitely looking forward to hearing more.
Oh yeah, I'm proud of everybody what they do here from lower to upper positions.
Well, good stuff. Well, let's get right into the history of UNSC Unicom then. What's the story behind your formation? We talked a little bit about Panama and some of your contacts in the community with Mute and Fry. How did Unicom form and become what it is today?
So originally, like I said, it was there was a group. We joined a group. Panama. Ajax was there. I'll let Ajax speak on Panama in a minute, but we were part of Panama for a little while. Panama switched GCOs. Ajax can speak on the Defiance part, but after Defiance, there was a schism. We became UNSC UNICOM. Some of us were still here, some of us weren't. But I'll allow Ajax to speak on the Defiance part, and then I'll speak on the rest of the UNSC Unicom part.
All right. So, if I'm going to be talking about the Defiance, I may as well talk about the Panama. The Panama was a pretty tight knit group. It wasn't very large. It was based on a map called Evron for Arma Reforger. That's where everything pretty much started. Things went pretty well for the Panama until we decided to rebrand it to a group called the Defiance. The Defiance had quite a few problems. At the time, it was ran by an individual named Mute 7020. And I ended up being anointed as the GCO of it after a period of time to solve the issues. For those wondering what happened to the Defiance, the owner of the server decided that it was no longer worth the time and basically just deconstructed it, for lack of a better term. And then from there, as Jim said, the UNSC Unicom was born from it, and the people that was in the Defiance ended up dividing into two different directions. I originated from the Panama. That's where I met these fine gentlemen. And if there's any questions about that, feel free to ask. I'm always happy to help.
Well, sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. So, yeah, I mean, it's a common theme. I guess you could say a common thread that you find in gaming, and not just Milsim, but all kinds of gaming communities, where there are two issues, and I mean, LaFlash and I have talked ad nauseum about this. Where the first issue is lack of money. If you don't have money for the servers, or for whatever kind of coding or IT you need, you're gonna have a problem. The second issue, and really the biggest, most destructive, is bad leadership. And that, I mean, I'm not going to criticize anybody, but if they're done and they're no longer willing to lead, I mean, obviously that's a big problem. So just the fact that you guys were able to pick up from that, kind of, stand up, dust yourselves off, and keep it going down a different track, I'm impressed with that, because it's not easy, and I've seen a lot of great units come and go. They burn up like a shooting star, if you'll pardon the pun there, or the expression. But yeah, so that's where you came from. Where are you at today? And I mean, we'll get into the future here, but what's your outlook? How do your ops look? Tell me about the experience that you have in game and in the greater Unicom community.
So, I'll go forth with the operations. I do a lot of operations on Friday. We generally do them throughout the week. There'll be smaller operations throughout the week, but towards Friday and the weekend, we have bigger ones. That's mostly the time we do allied operations and joint ops with others. But we just finished up a campaign called the Harvest Campaign. It's based off of the lore of Harvest was a planet that was the first planet that was made contact with the Covenant. And it was what do you call it? Basically, the UNSC and the Covenant, the UNSC would win, the Covenant would win, UNSC would win, back and forth. So this campaign was based off of the UNSC winning this one time. Generally, I tried to do pretty big operations to where they last 2 to 3 hours. But the only problem that we have is sometimes the game can't always handle, like if you have 40 players in and you put too many AI, not all Xbox players can handle it. Mostly PC players can, but try to give a lot of objectives for all the people to go forth. Usually, so we split off. So we have within the the UNSC Army and Unicom, we have the regular infantry. We have the airborne, and then right now we're producing a unit within the Army called the Rangers. The airborne has their own objective that coincides with the regular infantry, and then we have the ODSTs, the 82nd ODSTs, which is led by Slaughter and Husky. They will be their pods will be dropped in another certain location to take out some Covenant forces. And we try to give each elite unit / SF unit their own objective. Majority of the time, the Spartans do support the regular infantry and the airborne, because in lore, they did do stuff on their own, but when they're on the field with Marines, Army, or ODSTs, they did do a lot of support action. Ajax can correct me on that or give more insight on that, but majority of the time we have mechanized going on for the Army, and a lot of the Army's engagements become defensive. They do offensive as well, but in lore, the Army is a defensive force, or more like a garrison force for the planets.
Gotcha.
So we try to go in depth with each unit, but so we got a couple active duty guys and ex-military, or still if they're a Marine, they're not ex, but
Sure, right. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, because like I said, earlier, I come from I guess quote unquote traditional milsim background, where I do the kind of modern day U.S. Army anyway. I'm familiar with that and some shoot offs, but coming from a lack of experience in Halo or UNSC. This is fascinating. I mean, it sounds like you guys, you're operating obviously in the future, in a kind of like parallel universe almost with this theme, with the Halo theme. But you guys are doing combined ops with different elements, offering different levels of not only engagement but support. I think that's pretty badass. I mean, you mentioned that you have ops, throughout the week, running 2-3 hours. You finished your Harvest campaign here. So with that being said, I mean, can you give me a little bit, I guess more, and I'm going to put I'll have some eye candy here for our audience here, but, with this level of kind of immersive gameplay in the universe, in this universe, I mean, how do you balance that with fun. I mean, you mentioned you got some military vets, some active duty perhaps. What is the dynamics like, the back and forth verbally, the teamwork? Can you unpack that a little bit and kind of let me and the audience know what you guys look like as a fighting unit?
So I'll start with the regular infantry. One of my guys, currently he's an E5. He's going through our OCS program. He went through our NCO program previously. His name's Dirty Hank. When majority of the time, if there's, how do I reword this? If there is no other higher ranking officer on, he leads the regular infantry. And so what I've noticed that he does during the operations, and he handles it pretty well, he'll put each individual in certain places, even if it's not our men, and it's we invited some allies to help with the campaign. He puts them all in their own job. We have, so for each squad or fire team, they each have their own radio channel, and but they all have to report back in to 38, and that is our squad comms for the whole all ground forces. And then 42 is our command, and he will report back to 42 on what's going on. If the objective's finished, I will have them set up a perimeter, and generally we throw some surprises every now and then, but
Good shit. Yeah, you might have cut off there.
I did for a second. Sorry.
Copy that. Yeah, all good. No, that's some good shit, man. It sounds like you really got a good balance going. I mean, well organized, well structured. You've got your leaders there up and down the chain of command there. So that is about as legit, Milsim as you can get in the Armorverse. And I'm just, coming from a primarily Arma 3 background, at least with Milsim, from my point of view. I mean, the fact that Reforger is already taking off, outside of the Cold War kind of, paradigm with all these new mods and everything. I think it's just amazing how it's exploded, and you're just continuing that momentum, and it seems from my point of view, adding to the development of the community, not only in Reforger but beyond that. So that's pretty badass, if I may say so. Now, with that, it's like I'm starting to get a little bit better understanding. But let me ask you guys: can you describe a memorable op or any kind of event that you guys have held, either in the past or recently? Like, what really stands? If what memories do you have if you had to share a story from one of your missions? What do you think would be the best one?
Ajax or Ash, you want to give a honestly, actually, one of the recent ones would be we had an ally join, and we were all having a great time together, and their Spartans and our Spartans, and our ODSTs and theirs, and then our infantry and theirs.
The UNSC Drecking.
Yeah, Drecky's really great, and then a couple others like Infinity and who else do we have come? I know there's one other that hangs out with us a lot. Oh, 101st Airborne. They we were all doing an op together. We were kicking ass. We were moving from Everon's airfield. This is when we restarted the campaign, or not restarted. We started a new one, and we moved into Saint Philippe. Yep. We were taking that town, and then I had them also taking Gallows Hills military site from the Covenant, and then I had them move to Tyrone to take that area, and everyone met in the middle, and then after that we had another operation that next Friday, moving into Montanak, and it's one of the videos on there. I think I can. Let me see if I can find it for you real quick.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It is. We have a Bradley moving up because there's not too many IFVs, infantry and fighting vehicles, that are what do you call it, that have been made that are Halo based or UNSC based. So we have to improvise with using real real world vehicles that are within the game already. I have it right here. Let me see if I can share it.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
There it
But I
is.
mean,
Top
I
left.
appreciate that rundown from city to city because I mean I know Everon pretty well. I have played some Reforger, and I mean that map goes way back. But I could just imagine, each element moving from point to point, taking those objectives, and just the kind of firefights you get into in that environment.
It's just beautiful, man. Seeing everyone work together and move in to one point, and then the support units. We'll have Hornets, which are, I guess you could call the Apaches of Halo.
Right? Yeah,
Fly
your
in
cast.
and lay down some hate, and then the cast Pelican comes in and drops down some rockets. It's fucking beautiful to see all that fire come down. I sent you that video, and in that video particularly, the Bradley is there's. I'm flying over the Bradley, and you just see it laying hate into the URF.
That's great. Yeah, we'll definitely get some of this footage up on the podcast video for our audience here. So outstanding. Yeah, you guys put a lot of work into this, into the unit, into your teamwork together. Definitely some good shit, and I hope that you just keep it coming. Because it's these, like I've said, it's a community. The games are great. All the Arma titles are really good games. They got a lot of opportunities for a good time together, either in at least in multiplayer. But it's the community that really makes it with the units, whether it's Milsim or casual, whatever. The different mods, the different kind of themes and mission sets. I mean, this is what makes Milsim and Arma great. And it really all boils down again to people like you who are putting in the time and the effort and the leadership to bring others into the experience. So definitely looking forward to seeing more and definitely sharing it with the community around us. Now, with that being said, I appreciate again all you guys getting into the. I know we haven't even cracked the surface, but get into the details here of Unicom. Now, how would you describe? And we got into it a little bit, but the culture, the camaraderie within your units. So you guys work together really great on the battlefield. What about behind the scenes? Off hours. How do you guys operate when you're not out there looking for targets?
I'll let Ajax go first, and then when Ajax is done, I'll let Ash go, and then I'll just give you a brief summary, but I'll let those
Great.
two talk first.
Well, essentially, the way Unicom functions is we treat each other with respect. We don't tolerate anything less. And if we catch people disrespecting each other, being crude, we don't tolerate discrimination or anything of the sort. The moment we catch it, they get tossed. So Unicom, the best way to describe how we treat each other is kind of like a family. I know people say that as like a very loose term, but there's really no other way to describe it. We treat each other the same way that you would treat your brother or anything like that. If one of us is having a hard time, we're there for them. We're here to support them, things of that nature. But overall, we're just a really close friend group. But whenever the Milsim kicks off, it's Milsim. We don't let that interfere with the actual Milsim environment itself. But at the end of the day, it is a community that we're trying to build. We value everyone's health first and foremost, above anything else.
Ash, you're up.
For someone has a little bit more of a deeper insight of what we do off duty and whatnot. I mean, we all joke around. We love joking. That's a big thing here. We love to give each other a hard time and just joke around. We like to bring out momentum in people. Definitely make people fit in. We don't really like the whole sitting in a corner by yourself thing. We kind of like to make sure everybody's involved, having fun, getting a good laugh in, and all that stuff. So we're definitely big on socializing with one another, even if you're new to the group. like Ajax said, we're like a family here. We make sure you are known of that and that you get treated as such, even if you are just new to the group and you have no idea who people are and stuff like that. We're just not shy to strangers. Um, but yeah, we just like to have a good time half the time when we are not doing anything serious.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I mean they're both correct. I mean this unit's been through its own drama, and to go off of what Ajax said, and then I'll go off what Ash said is to go off Ajax first is when there's drama. I set up a rule that if you're causing drama between two people, between you and someone else, you have 24 to 48 hours. But that doesn't mean we don't care about those people at that time. It's just, hey, we're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy each other. Let's not cause any issues with each other. We all enjoy having a laugh and like maybe, excuse me, saying something we shouldn't, but let's keep it with some camaraderie and having a good time with each other. And then to go off what Ash said, I mean, 100%. Like, to go off what he said is basically, yeah. Like, if I see someone sitting in the corner, or if someone has a question for me, like every time I have a conversation with someone or something else, or they had like a question, like I just said, is I let them know my DMs are open 24/7. I may be at work, but if it's important, I'll respond to it. But we're here for each other, especially even if you're going through hard times. Like we've had one guy that was sick in the hospital, and I check up on him almost every week. And then there's a couple other people that have gone through some drama in their own life, and we made sure that they were okay and not wanting to do anything to themselves or something. But like, yeah, if even if when we have new guys that have never played Arma before or are new like to the Halo scene, we give them the rundown. We teach them, and we're friendly with them. Unless, yeah, to be honest, all these guys do the best they can.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like it. I've already gotten a taste here. I can understand what you guys are saying about just bringing people in. I mean, you got me up to speed on so many different levels, in just our conversation here today. But that's the difference between leadership and, like, let's say, management. It's one thing to tell somebody what to do and give them orders. It's another thing to take care of them, to make sure that they're doing well, that they're empowered, that they're where they need to be to have a good time. And some people, they need that leadership, they need that development, and they need somebody who actually gives a damn about them. And I'm gonna say, whether you're on the internet or in the workforce, man, good leaders can be hard to come by some days. So definitely, what you leaders put into it contributes to what you and your soldier, what your Spartans, what all your people get out of it. So that's really great. I mean, it's what we need more of in the community, and it's one of those things that I'd like to see in the Armorverse, because there's something to the game and the people behind it.
100%. I don't disagree at all.
So we talked about the development of Unicom. Your background, how you've just you've worked through and around and over the drama and just kept you and your men pushing forward here. Can you tell me about what you've learned in terms of your unit, from your unit's evolution? What insights have you guys developed, making this thing happen and making it successful?
Well, I may have a question for you on that, because
Sure.
to elaborate on that, do you mean are you going forth with just the Milsim unit, or just like in general?
Well, I mean, just curious, particularly in Unicom, but I mean, just your whole experience here in the UNSC universe. What are some of the most valuable lessons? Because there's going to be other Milsim unit leaders out there listening, other community members who are thinking about starting a Milsim. So if you've got any wisdom to share with them in terms of pulling this off and really keeping it running, day, week in, month out, and etc. What kind of advice or wisdom can you offer?
Well, honestly, I'll give you. It's going to be a little bit of the past of the unit as well. To be frank, when I joined, I didn't want anything to do with leadership, like I said earlier, and it's not that I don't like leadership. It's just I've done it before, and I've done some things IRL, and it at some point you just want to be the guy that follows. But I got put into the position of command staff when Unicom was created, and from that day forward, I didn't care what was happening with any other branch. If my boys weren't having a good time, that's all I cared about. If they were in the dumps, that was a problem for me. Even now, with me running all of Unicom, I don't run all of it. I have boys that do things for me and other stuff, but um, it's honestly about the members, dude. If you pay attention to them and they're having a good time and they're enjoying their stay, or like if something's wrong, I mean, you can't accommodate everyone 24/7, but you got to make sure that like your boys are having somewhat of a decent time and enjoying themselves. And to be honest, even when it gets low and people are inactive or the group lost, let's say 15 members and everyone's morale is a little down, if you can be that shining light that fucking gets people back into the game and gets people back on, honestly, it like we were at a low point a couple months ago, and I took a break from this, not like for 2 weeks, and I was just like, you know what? I got offered to be a part of other groups, and I'm like, you know what? I can't. Like, it's either I'm a part of, we're doing Unicom, or I'm not doing Arma anymore. And I talked to a few people. Ajax contacted me at some point. Ashford joined a little while ago, and I started posting on TikTok more, Instagram more, and we just kept on moving. Like, I made more connections with other units, and we started doing stuff with them, and just kept going, dude. That's all that matters. If you keep going, whether you have 8 people or 100, it doesn't matter. As long as you keep the momentum, that's all that matters. I'll let Ajax and Ash speak on it as well, but that's my thing. It's even something in life is momentum. If you keep the momentum, it just keeps on. Things will keep going for you. Doesn't matter how many people you have alongside you, as long as you have yourself and the people that matter.
No, you're absolutely right. And I just want to say that's the thing. It's, a lot of people, they want to be up there, at the top of the chain, with eyes on them, giving the orders, directing their different elements to where they want them to be. But once people at the top realize what goes into developing, motivating, and then actually leading your people, in operations, not just on the battlefield, but behind the scenes and during training and all the spool up there, man. It's a lot, and you're right. It's not something you can do 24 hours. You got to take care of yourself, just like your men need to. But that's the thing, man. It's once you do it and you see what can happen, what the payout is, man. It's something that you get pulled into, sometimes whether you really plan on it or not. So I definitely admire that tidbit of your experience there. So definitely, Ajax and Ashford, what do you guys think in terms of the lessons learned on your end?
Ashford, you can go ahead.
Sorry, I'm wrapping up. So can you repeat the question one more time for me?
Yeah, what kind of lessons have you learned as Unicom has grown and evolved and developed in your time here?
Life comes first all the time. That's a lot of the people kind of misunderstand when they come here. Most of the time when people come here, they're coming from groups that don't really follow up by that rule. Just the one thing I can always say is life comes first, and we worship that more than anything. Like, we expect if you can participate in role plays and all that stuff, right? At the end of the day, dude, life comes first. If you're having something going on, prioritize that over a video game at the end of the day. And that's just kind of one of our biggest rules, at least from what I was here. But I still enforce it just for someone that was here before, and it was heavily enforced by practically every single person that existed here, whether they're here now or not. But yeah. That's just always what I tell new people when they come here is that life comes first and always focus on it before focusing on a video game.
Good stuff. How about you, AJ?
My, from my experience personally, I have to completely agree with what Ashford said. That was one of the things I was going to say. Couldn't agree more. Always prioritize your health first, because at the end of the day, it is a video game. A video game should never jeopardize your actual life. We do have a lot of people that come in and they're really motivated, but there have been a lot of instances where they'll start neglecting their, their responsibilities and things like that. We advise against it, but at the end of the day, we're not their parents. The best we can do is just try to push them in the right direction. But one of the key things I've learned, more so watching people climb the ladder, is everyone has the capacity to be a leader. Everybody has that capacity. It's a matter of how much motivation do they have to get there. If you have the right amount of motivation and the right reasons, you can get wherever you want to be in any community you want. No one is born a leader. No one's born into anything. It's a skill that you learn over time. The only way you can learn that is if you put motivation into it, you put time into it, dedication, things like that. So, yeah, whenever it comes to joining into a Milsim community, it's important to understand it's okay to not know things. Lean on those that do know stuff. The whole Milsim thing, I talk to people, I've spoken to people that are intimidated by the whole Milsim environment of things because they feel like they don't know anything and people want to scold them for it. We don't do that here. We focus on building each other up. If we get new people coming in that haven't played Arma, which we have a couple of people in Unicom right now that aren't very experienced with Reforger, and we're currently teaching them the ropes. Yeah, no, that's pretty much a big chunk of it. So if anyone watching is afraid of getting into the Milsim environment, it's okay to not know things. Depending on the community you go into, they'll be happy to teach you. And if they're not happy to teach you, they're not worth your time.
Legit. No, that's some great perspectives there. Great lessons for everybody to take heart in. And I can, you're right. I agree with everything you guys just said here. And that runs, whether you're, doing, a particular role playing milsim, or you're on a whole different platform, some other game entirely outside of Reforger or away from the UNSC theme here. All those points are legit, man. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. You got to balance things, and you got to be real. I mean, we're all here to have a good time, to have fun, and some of us have it in different ways. But at the end of the day, if we're miserable, man, that's not good for us. It's not good for any unit or anybody in the community. So, definitely some stuff to think about there in terms of leadership and relationships in the scene here. Now, I appreciate that again. Now, you mentioned about some of your. We didn't talk about recruiting, but you mentioned about how you interact with potential members and the community. I'm curious to get more about that. Do you have a set group of recruiters or even a shop to take care of that? How do your interactions look with other gamers and then with other units? I'm really curious to hear about that too.
So currently we have a media team. It includes myself and a couple others. That's how one way we recruit, but the other ways is, excuse me, we sometimes we'll go on the official servers and play with people. And when people ask us, since there's a large amount of us, they're like, "Oh, why you guys all know each other?" We'll just mention we're from Unicom, or just be like, "Hey, if you want to roll with us, just come hang out with us." And then sometimes we'll be talking about our group or what's going on. We'll do a lot of conflict servers, and then honestly, I post a lot wherever we can post, and then yeah, honestly, anytime there's a new person that joins, if they want to hang out with us, they want to be a guest, they just want to see what's going on, they want to watch us do a BCT, talk to people. We don't care as long as no one's causing issues. We don't care. You can come hang out with us, do whatever you want, just chill. But yeah, like we put ourselves out there as much as we can and try to befriend whoever joins the server, or whoever joins the Discord. But yeah.
Good stuff. And I'll definitely, again, I'll have some links here to their social media, and that includes their Discord server as well. So you can get right in, talk to any of these leaders here, or any of the other members of Unicom to learn more and see if it's a good fit for you. So definitely. Now, what about the other units? You mentioned, a few minutes ago we were talking, and you mentioned a joint op. I'm not aware of that in terms of any kind of Halo, themed joint ops here. What does that look like?
So, I'll invite. So we have our ambassador channel. I believe you have the role. You can see all those people. We have quite a few people that are quite a few units that we are allies with, and they're invited to almost any to come hang out in our server, to join any operation. I make an announcement for each Friday operation into that usually, and we'll go to their servers. They'll go to ours, and we're really close with the 101st and Dreckie. I think there's one other unit that we're pretty close with. Who is it? And honestly, it's one of our favorite. I believe our favorite things to do is have them around, because anytime they're here, we'll just the camaraderie that develops that I've seen between us and the other units. What do you call it? The way everyone can just come together and instantly work with each other instead of it being confusing. It just usually turns out perfect. And after the operations, everyone will get to goof off or hang out with each other, joke with each other. We usually, I'll take a picture together. So if any of you open the link that Brock posts, you'll see that some of those videos have other units mentioned in them. But yeah, I mean, we've worked with a lot of units, and it's always a great time. Like Dreckie, EEF, and Infinity, and I just forgot another group, but 101st. But 101st, everyone else, they're great guys.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to imagine what it looks like with these different units, different themes coming together. But maybe chemistry isn't the right word, but definitely a kind of dynamism that you guys sounds like you guys have, where you can just kind of roll with it and get right into the mission.
Yeah, usually if the group runs Marines, since we run Army, we may run Marines at some point. If the group runs Marines, we'll put them on a lot of offensive actions. We do have the Army roll with the Marines, majority of the time if there are Marines, but the Army will also handle the defensive actions if needed. But each unit that comes in, they don't always have the same formations the way we do. So I have certain objectives that each one can handle, and then we, like I said earlier, we all come together and move on to one massive objective.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the future. You guys got a good thing going here. Great interaction, with the community down at the personal level, all the way up to, running with other units. Where do you see Unicom a year from now, say, the beginning of 2026?
I'm gonna let Ajax and Ashford begin with that, because I might run my mouth for a little too long. So let them speak, and then I'll give a summary. Ajax, if you are available, you can go first.
As far as where Unicom could be in 2026, I'd have to say prospering, for lack of a better term, because the leadership here is really stable. Whenever it comes to working with other groups, the cohesion is there off rip, because all of our people are really easily they adapt really easily to new environments, new people, things of that nature. So, as far as where I see Unicom 2026, I see it being a powerhouse, and I really look forward to it. And it's because of those that come into Unicom. It's because of those that decide to arrive here as new recruits. Um, we have them to thank for that. So, as long as everything's going the way they're going now, I see it being a great thing because it already is a great thing.
All right, outstanding.
Ash, you're next.
Um, for the group that comes in the following of 2026, I definitely see it prospering, going somewhere. But that's if everyone's willing to put in the work for it, right? I'm not gonna plan something but not be realistic about it. We're not gonna get up to where we want to be if nobody keeps doing what they gotta do. But as long as we keep doing what we're doing, like Ajax said, it's gonna become a powerhouse. It's gonna become pretty much one of a really good Milsim out here in the Halo Milsim community, and I can't wait to see it.
All right,
All
keeping
right.
it real.
To piggyback off of those, my goals are a little high. I want my server at 300, or even more. But later down the line, yeah, as long as everyone keeps on moving and pushing forward, we'll be up there. I mean, my goals are the moment we are able to, and the army's at a number that I'd like. I would like to open another branch, and that would most likely be the Marines. That way, what would you call it? To do the dynamic of the way the Army's set up for more garrison and defensive actions, we can have them doing their own certain things, and then the Marines will handle their objectives within our unit and do some offensive actions and move through that. And then, like we are currently, I've been looking into ONI, but we haven't currently set anything up. ONI is called the Office of Naval Intelligence. It is basically like the CIA for the UNSC. But for anyone that's interested in that, that is something that I'm looking into, but it has not been set up. But I'm really excited for the future. I don't care what gets thrown at us. This group will prevail. And I don't see anything to be afraid of or be worried about. Just got to keep pushing forward.
Yep, that's great. Yeah, just you got a good thing going here. You just want to keep it moving forward. So, and definitely in terms of ONI, I mean that's kind of like parallel to the Army S2. I mean I'm definitely experiencing that in the Arma 3 milsim scene. So definitely, I mean, sounds like a good spot to be. I mean, as you're growing, as you're looking forward, for new players to come in, whether you're talking console, PC. Take a look if you're into Halo, if you're into UNSC. Take a look at these guys because they got a lot going, like I said, and they have a bright future ahead of them. So I'm curious now. Got a lot of great information about Unicom, about your history, your culture, your experiences together, as friends, as as team members. Let's point the light a little bit, back on you gentlemen, in terms of your own personal insights. I mean, what is it about Milsim Gaming that you like the most? I mean, what keeps you coming back? I mean, obviously, a couple of you guys have, a decade plus long, experiences, careers, if you will, in Milsim. What is it that keeps you coming back?
Ashford, I'll have you go first, and then Ajax, and then I'll go.
What has me enjoying this the most and what keeps my drive going is, which I was saying earlier, the momentum everyone brings, as well as the roleplay. We keep it as accurate as we possibly can, which I really enjoy because it makes me feel like I'm actually playing within an actual Halo scenario. As I said before, it's a franchise I love. I'm a geek for it. And yeah, it's just the momentum everyone brings, all the personalities they all bring. It's all good. It's all fun. And then when it's time to get serious, everyone definitely plays their part within the roleplay aspect of things. And that's what I really enjoy about this group.
Ajax.
For me personally, I just like the environment it's set in. You can meet people from literally any walks of life in it. There's a lot of people that you can relate to, some that you can't. Um, but overall, it's just a really good way to meet new people. And like Ashford said, it's a roleplay environment too. If you're into the roleplay side of things and just kind of immersing yourself into a different world, it's a great escape if you're stressed out or if you just want something fun to do. It's good for both. Um, I recommend it to anyone that I recommend it to anyone to at least try. Because if you try it and you end up liking it, you might find a new thing that you really enjoy. If not, I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. You still get the experience, and yeah, that's pretty much all Milsim really is just being able to immerse yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, I took like a 2-year long break from touching the Xbox or touching the PC. What got me back into it was the DayZ thing that I brought up, and then Panama and so on and so forth. But what keeps me coming back is honestly, I've made so many friends over the years that um, it getting to play with them again. It's just you may not know them personally or in real life in certain aspects, but you just don't get the same experience sometimes when throughout your day-to-day life. These guys that you hang out with, sometimes they're more than just your friends. They're your family or your brothers. You want to talk about Milsim wise, they're your brothers in arms. But it's just the people, to be quite honest, that keeps me coming back. And the if the community keeps going the way it is, it's just going to keep on getting better.
Yeah, I can appreciate all that. I mean, definitely, you guys, you said it all. I mean, yeah, the role playing, being able to clear your mind, get out of something that's on your mind or bothering you, just to have some fun for a couple hours with other people and have that experience together, with camaraderie and all the fireworks that go along with each of the missions, man. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I mean, again, I can relate to that pretty deeply. So good shit. Now, what about your like dream op? If you're going to create like the biggest, most badass mission or campaign, what would it look like here? I mean, the floor is open. What do you guys want to see in the game?
Ashford, you're going to go first.
So the things I want to see more, obviously, we all want to. For those who even do Halo Milsims, we all want to see the Covenant get fixed and add in more Covenant enemies to fight rather than just elites. Because at some point, like most things, it's going to bring up its own hype, but then it will get boring later on. That's something I cannot wait to see. But I also want them to just be fixed so I actually, can fight them. Because because obviously I'm assuming you don't know, they're currently broken at the moment, so we're kind of stuck fighting the URF at the time being, which is like putting a dent in a lot of campaigns I know Jim has had planned, but we just make do with what we got. Other than that, though, that's really about it. That's not really much of a Unicom thing. It's kind of the mod creators, which I know they're still working on it, but with the whole Russian hacker attack thing, they're very limited on what they can actually do with that.
Yep, definitely.
Ajax, you're up.
To add on to the things that they said, my thing personally is I'd like to see more variety in armor. Uppercut has been doing an incredible job at making sure that there's variety, making sure there's stability with their mods. But if I had to pick one thing, it would have to be adding more variety to the equipment, the weapons. Me personally, that's what I would like to see. The Covenant do need fixed because it's kind of a pivotal point as far as being a part of a Halo Milsim is fighting Covenant.
Sure.
Yeah, that's Ashford covered most of it.
Well, I mean, I can do an operation with the URF or the Covenant. I do want the Covenant, but I'm not gonna. I obviously, like we talked before. For anyone that is listening, if you've played Halo Reach, you're gonna know what mission I'm talking about. It's called Tip of the Spear. It is where there's a big old warthog run. It is our like scout and fast attack vehicle, and then there's a bunch of Falcons flying into. It is just one massive run that the UNSC basically pulls on Reach to attack all Covenant forces. Like all forces on the planet are attacking every Covenant installation that has covertly moved in on Reach. And what I would love is to do a massive Warthog run, and that like just basically that whole mission of Tip of the Spear, and just have all the units doing parts of that mission, and just fucking going fucking straight into hell, and just fighting their way through everything. Because something that I've noticed, even when it was just me on the ground and not GMing, is that when you're going through hell and it's just continuously just enemies thrown at you after one after another, you feel the experience of just fighting and for your life a little bit in the game, and it just gives you that nostalgia. And I would love to pull off some of the missions that are in the Halo games, and like I said, Tip of the Spear, because that scene where the mission starts off and everyone's just going straight towards the Covenant and about to destroy each spire. It's a crazy mission.
Sounds pretty intense. Definitely. I mean, yeah, if you can take that, the original experience and translate that into, Arma Reforger, definitely. I mean, I think that would be a big boost for a lot of people, in terms of not just the immersion, but the overall experience together. All right. Well, some good shit, gentlemen. Now, what about your go-to loadouts for operations? What are you guys packing? And this can be either what you carry, typically week by week, or what your ultimate loadout would be.
Ajax, you're gonna go first.
I generally use the MA5B for my main assault weapon. That's just because it's a good all-around weapon for me. That's what I feel best with. And the M6C Magnum has got to be another good one. That's usually what I pack. I don't pack anything crazy like the stanchion or the saw. On occasion, I do, depending on what everyone else is running. But yeah, that's my generalized loadout.
Gotcha.
Ash.
Weapons of my choice, it's typically based on what's going on during the operation, but you'll usually see me with the DMR and a standard Magnum or an MA2B, and then same thing with standard Magnum. But the one loadout I have specifically that evolves into my actual MOS, you will see me with just a BR and a sniper, as well as a standard Magnum. But that's only comes out during certain occasions and operations, or it's mainly requested by whoever's sending me on deployment.
Sure. Well, either way, it sounds like you're ready to reach out and touch somebody.
Yep.
So, generally, because I'm busy, I don't always get to be in operations, but generally what I run is a BR or XBR. It is a weapon that's, I would say, mid-range. It has 3 modes, single, burst, and then full auto. I usually run that in a pistol. And that's mainly what I run. It's a good all-around weapon within the Halo franchise. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. So yeah, nothing, out, left field here. Just like I said, keeping it real and staying in that immersion. So good shit. All right, now one of the most anticipated questions, of course, here in the Milsim Units podcast is about your favorite movie. So if if Unicom were a movie or a TV show for that matter, which would it be? Or if there's no good fit, which film or show really kind of captures the mood, the community here in Unicom?
Ashford, I'm gonna have you go first, and then Ajax. I've never actually thought about this.
Uh, that's a very very interesting question. I think it would be go off one of those. If I had to make it not exact, but too close of it, would be one of those like military movies where it's got the good times, but it's also got the really action part of things. I think that would be a close, if not somewhat of a perfect fit to describe the Milsim in an actual movie or show or whatever you would want to call it.
Sure, fair.
Ajax.
I never really put much thought into this question. I like this question.
I know, right?
As far as like action packed, I'd have to say pretty much any Michael Bay movie. There's a lot of explosions, there's a lot of fire, a lot of things to shoot, a lot of things trying to shoot you. I'd have to say any Michael Bay movie. We have some operations where it's kind of relatable to the movie Black Hawk Down. Contingency whenever a group of individuals are stuck and stranded. But yeah, those would have to be my general picks for relation to Unicom.
Gotcha.
Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
bro.
oh good.
Sorry.
No, have at it.
Well, my responses are going to be a little different because I'm going to bring up more than just movies. So I will agree with the Black Hawk Down and some of the Michael Bay movies. But if anyone's new to the Arma or not new to the Arma, if anyone's ever heard of Soviet Womble and his characters, you know what I'm talking about, Brock?
Oh yeah, I know the Womble pretty well.
There's some funny moments, and if you've ever also seen the show called Vice Principals, there's a couple guys really like to screw with each other, and not we cuss at each other every now and then, and make fun of each other. But and then action packed, I would have to say, yeah, some like he said, Michael Bay, and then like definitely some World War II movies where it's situations where it's you get there fast and you support the dudes that are being put through the shit, and not every time you get to save the person, and sometimes you do, but it's a crazy experience sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, it sounds like it. Pretty wild. So, yeah, good mix of perspectives there. So definitely, I mean, keep thinking, man. You gotta. Obviously, we got some titles out, but yeah, keep thinking about that question. Which movie? Because I don't know. It's like I can't speak for you. I can't put words in Unicom's mouth, but I gotta wonder. There's got to be some sci-fi movie out there that fits you guys pretty well. But we'll see.
I mean, you could say Starship Troopers.
It's always in the back of my mind, so I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, it's good shit. That's a hilarious fucking film. The book was good.
No,
the film, I'd say the first film definitely, but yeah, it's a hell of a hoot there in terms of story and action and just all the crazy one-liners and madness going around you.
100%.
All right. Well, this has been a hell of a conversation, guys. I really appreciate you again, getting on here with me and helping unpack Unicom. Open up the Halo experience to those guys like me who are a little bit green and are new to that area of Milsim. I got to ask, as as a mod and the podcast host, working with Flash, how has your experience been with Milsim Units? What has helped you as a unit, as a community, and is there anything that we can improve on to help you further going down the road?
Honestly, everything that you guys have been doing, I've been a little busy, so I haven't been able to do all the ticket stuff, but there's been a lot of stuff that Flash has helped me with, and especially today, this interview or podcast, whatever the term is.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's been great. It seems my boys have enjoyed it, and I've had a great time talking to you, and I have nothing negative to say, but I'll let Ajax and Ashford speak for themselves.
Sure.
As far as, I'm sorry, repeat the question again, because I want to make sure I answer the right question.
Yeah, of course. Now, I mean, how's your experience been with Milsim Units as a platform, and what can we do to continue supporting Unicom and your growth and development going down the road.
As far as I'm concerned, you guys have done an amazing job. I don't really have any comments on that one.
Well, fair enough. I appreciate it.
Ash?
I mean, for someone that's actually, this is the first time this has ever happened, I think this is really nice. A cool thing to have, and a cool thing that you guys are doing. I personally had fun with all this stuff. I'm not exactly too familiarized what you guys realistically do besides this, but I'll end up learning eventually. But yeah, all this was really fun. I actually enjoy it.
Well, I appreciate that, gentlemen. Thank you. It's good to have you here on the podcast. It's good to have you on the platform. I mean, as we've been talking here, it's the people that make the communities that make, Arma, whether you're talking Reforger 3, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. It's the people that make Milsim what it is. So really has definitely been a pleasure, getting to know each of you individually, and then, of course, just filling my mind full of all kinds of details about Unicom here. So yeah, definitely, our door's always open. Shoot me a DM. Let us know. Put in a ticket if you have any kind of technical or support issues, but definitely let us know what we can do to keep working with you and support the growth of your unit and the community around you.
Of course.
All right. Well, good shit, gentlemen. So before we start to wrap up here, I want to ask, again, the floor is open for you, Jim, Ajax, Ashford, whoever wants to throw in your feedback. What's your perspective? What's one thing that you want our audience here to know about Unicom that they might not realize from what we've talked about so far?
I'm going to have Ashford go first, and then Ajax can. But yeah, let's hear what you guys have to say.
Um, when it comes to things that we haven't spoken about Unicom, I mean, most of it is pretty much already flat out there now, but it really has people and its backgrounds living in its shadows and other groups, or even in the group itself, that do tarnish the name. But I can say this now with utmost confidence, some of the things they just don't even say isn't true. I can say that half the things that are even said about people here, Jim mainly, either revolve in people's pasts and stuff like that. And for those that are watching this and have heard similar things I'm saying, it's not true. Unicom's a really good place. We like to keep it that way. We make sure it stays that way. And even people do bad things here, emotions get over people's heads, but forgiveness is a big thing here. But we really try to make this a good place for everybody. Those that are new, people who are experienced, all shapes and kinds, right? And like I said, we plan to keep it that way, and we don't plan on changing anytime soon.
All right.
To add on to what Ashford said, as far as I go, we, in case it's not obvious, we accept anyone, we give anyone a chance. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, what you identify as, none of that matters. We accept everyone as they are whenever they come in. So if you're worried that maybe, if you come in and, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are really weird about the whole, identifying thing. As long as you're happy, as long as the community is healthy, we're not bothered by whatever you choose to do. The core thing is we accept everyone as they are when they come in.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't tolerate any other kind of behavior. So you don't have to worry about harassment or anything like that, like you often see in some groups. So yeah, that's a big one.
Yep.
I mean, I have to agree with both of them. I mean, sure, I've had my ups and downs in the past, and maybe I didn't agree with some people, but we're here in the now, and if we can't get past the past and move to the present or the future, then you don't grow by holding on to that stuff. So I hope for anyone that's listening, come have fun with us. Doesn't matter if you join or whatever, but have fun with us. Or talk to whoever you'd like. Most of our DMs are always open, and this is not the same Unicom that it was in the past. That's all I have to mainly say, is that things have changed and things are moving forward, and come be a part of that change.
All right. Well, good shit, gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, there you have it. Check them out, guys. Like I said, we got the links below in the description. Take a look, because this is definitely, a more unique experience in the Milsim universe, particularly in Arma Reforger from everything I've seen so far. So I appreciate it, gentlemen. Great information, some great, topics that we've addressed here, and it was just a great discussion all around. So been a pleasure getting to know you guys and, seeing the unit from the inside out. And regarding, I guess, how people see themselves, or what their own perspectives are as individuals. I mean, it's the internet. I mean, I've been online for many years. People can be whatever they want to be. So as long as you're chill, at least with respect to the community. Maybe not so much when you're under fire, but either way, yeah, just being a good person and sharing that camaraderie with other like-minded individuals. It's something we need to see more of in this day and age. So if Halo's your kind of thing, definitely take a look. If not, I mean, just take a look at the greater community, because there is something for somebody here. Every unit's got something to offer, and yeah, there's some drama, there's some internet noise and all that, but don't let it get you, because at the end of the day, we're all here again to have a good time, to have a fun operation or mission together on the servers. So good shit. All right, now let me ask you, Jim. Again, we got the links below. Any other info you want to have for people who are interested or who want to join? Want to join Unicom? What's the best way to get an application in with you?
I would say you can join our Discord. That's the best way to put an application in. But if you want to come experience it for yourself, I'd join the server and hang out and see what it's like, and just get a feel for it. Where the server's up 24/7, generally there's people in there. But if there's anything you want to know, just hit us up on Discord. I can give you my my Discord name or user ID, so other people can just friend me and ask questions. But yeah.
Yep, sounds good. I'll put that in the description again. So good shit, guys. Had a good time tonight here. Definitely looking forward to getting this up on our YouTube channel for everyone else to hear. Definitely looking forward to getting back online with the next one. We got some more in the works. But until that time, this is C. Brock signing off.